And what we're going to do is start off with creating a 100 point deck. The points are based on the point values of each unit. So each unit added together has to total 100 to start. So we've got two decks already created. US and German are in the basic set, and the Eastern Front includes Russian and German. So we're going to start off by shuffling the command cards, which give your units options during the game. We're going to shuffle the damage cards, which apply unique damage effects when you actually take damage points. We got 4 dice and we're ready to go. So to start the game, you're going to create a starting hand. This will be the first units that see each other in battle. It's like a meeting engagement, so that the first units that come in contact. So 4 total cards can be chosen. And if you need a crew for a unit, it's noted right on the card. So the icon will tell you it's a tank, and you need a tank crew, and there's a tank crew. It can be anything you want: aircraft, artillery, infantry, tanks. And I'm going to do that, and you're going to do that, and then we're going to shuffle the rest. Alright, so then we're going to also get 3 command cards. So I'm going to go ahead and deal those out. Command cards are a common deck between players, as well as damage cards. So we keep them over here. Alright, so in the Eastern Front set and a back applied rule here, the first thing we do in any turn, you can add these to your hand. The first thing we do in any turn is roll initiative. Initiative will tell you who does what first in each phase of this current turn. So what we're going to do is each roll a d10. The highest number wins. We re-roll ties, and you got it. So the US gets the initiative. Alright, so we're ready for the first turn, first phase, which is commitment. Commitment is bringing new units into battle, and that is how we do it. What we do is just, the initiative winner is going to place units on the appropriate line. The line where they're committed is right under the title. So you can have frontline units like tanks and infantry, you can have rear line units like artillery, and you can also have aircraft which aren't committed to a line but are limited by fuel, so they're in for a couple of turns or whatever. And so we're ready for you to commit new units. You can commit all of your hand if you'd like, or you can commit just a couple things. It's up to you.
I'll just commit those 2.
Alright, so bringing in those 2. I'm going to bring in a couple of infantry as well, and also a tank. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and bring in a hold down on that tank, so give a little more defense for the Panzer IV there. Alright, so we're ready for the combat phase. Once commitment is done, unless you have any other card play, we're ready to actually fire something off here. So the initiative winner is going to declare where they're firing first. And one thing to note is if it's underscored on the tank to hit value, you can't affect armor of 2 or greater. And so these riflemen and bar gunners, those small arms, aren't going to be effective against the Panzer IV. But you could fire against the infantry, no problem.
Right.
So if you have a value to attack a certain unit, that's what you look at there. So yeah, you can bring in. Yeah, I would. First game, yeah, I would have brought him in too. So that's fine. So then with the units, you have the actual weapons that they had. You have 2 hit values or attack values for each type of target. And if you're targeting a fixed gun, you use the vehicle value with a bonus of 2. So it's fairly simple once you get the flow. So we're ready for targeting. So where would you like to fire your tank? At my tank?
Yeah, your tank, of course.
Alright, so we're going to use these targeting markers. They're just paired numbered counters.
Okay.
This is firing here, and when he's done, you flip it over. And then where would you like to fire the bazooka? And I used the wrong color. Got some US and German counters, yes. And those again are from the expansion. So tank going to the tank. Bazooka.
I'm going to fire the bazooka, your MG-42.
Bazooka, the MG, okay. Bazooka, the MG. And where's your rifle squad? It's going to fire.
To your rifle squad.
Alright, very good. And I'm going to fire my tank back at your tank. I'm firing the MG-42 at the bazooka. And I'm firing the rifle squad at your rifle squad. So to walk through how this works, we already know who's firing first. He's the initiative winner. You get to choose one of your units to fire their opening shot, and then we alternate all of our attacks until they're all done. So go ahead and choose one of these guys to open up. Now if you take out my unit, his attack won't happen.
Alright, I'm going to fire with the tank against the tank.
Okay? So you roll 2d10 using each weapon you want to use. Now you can only use 2 weapons, and it has to be able to affect the target. And notice these underscores again mean it can't affect that armor, so only your main gun is going to be useful against that tank.
That's totally fine.
Alright, so roll that. 2d10, add them together, you need a 10 or better. And a 17 is a good hit. 17, all that means is you hit. Now we figure out how much damage. So roll 1 die, add the weapon rating. 8 and 7 is a pretty good hit. Now that's going to be 15 total points going through the defense first. So 15 is, you subtract the defense, which is 7. So 15 minus 7 is 8 points that gets through on my endurance, which is 11. So real quick, just to show those stats, he needed a 10 to hit. He hit. He got through the defense, which is 7. He's applying that now to the full endurance. 8 points is subtracted from 11. That's 3. It's past this critical break point of 6, which means I draw a damage card. And when you draw a damage card, you apply the effect based on the type of unit. So there's 4 effects per card: crew, infantry, vehicles, aircraft, and guns. And you're just going to reveal the effect that's appropriate. In this case, crew casualty, no attack with first listed weapon of the crewed unit, which means I've lost my main gunner. If it were a gun effect, I would reveal the gun effect for that card. And if it's temporary, it's got a built-in counter right there, and then the effect is gone. Now the damage would stay to remind you you're only back up to your half value at the end of this turn. Okay, and so next we're going to apply this damage. He's down to 3 temporarily, and so in the expansion we got this temporary damage counter. He's down to 3. He is done with his fire, and we're ready to have me choose a target and fire back. So I'm going to fire back with that. I was going to fire back with the tank, but I lost my main gunner, so his attack won't happen because I don't have a card called. Actually, I do. I have a card called Redirect Fire, which lets me change my target. So in that case, I'm going to play this command card. I'm going to retarget from the Panzer IV. He's going to fire now instead, because he lost his main gunner. He's going to fire on some infantry. So ready for 2d10. I need a 13 or better to hit infantry. I'm just using my MGs, and the 3x next to that MG means I roll 3 times. So I get 3 different attacks. 16 is a hit, 7 and 1 is 8. He's got no defense, 4 endurance. The MG takes him out. Alright, so now the bazooka team is gone, and that would be worth 3 points for the Germans. Alright, so then we've got the attack from the bazooka team goes away. My MG42, which I don't have another redirect fire card, his attack goes away. And then the 16 is done. So we go to you to resolve your last attack, which would be the rifles. Any 2 weapons, you can fire them both against this rifle squad.
Let's go ahead and fire them both.
Alright, so you need an 11 or better with your Garand rifles. And that's a miss with a 5. Go ahead and roll 2d10 again. You get 2 shots with the BAR, 12 or better. That's a good hit with a 17. Roll 1d and add 2. 7 and 2 is 9. No defense. Off of 14 is going to be 5 points, and that is going to be enough to get a damage card on this rifle squad. In this case, the damage effect is applied based on the infantry effect, and it's seek cover, which means I get an attack penalty of 1 for everything that he's firing with, but he gets a bonus 1 defense. So he's down to past his breakpoint. You've got 1 more shot with the BAR. So go and roll 2d10, and that is an 11, which is a miss. All right, so he'll be back up to 7 at the end of this turn, because we don't carry over those temporary damage points to the next turn. So his attack is done. And now the rifle squad will actually fire back. He just got fired upon, he's firing back. Penalty 1 to hit now, so I need a 12 instead of 11 to roll that. And I rolled a 13, that's a hit. 1d is added to 2. 1 and 2 is 3. No defense. he's temporarily down to 12. Okay, so we track that. He's down to 12 for the moment. Next attack, I'm going to use my MG34s. I get 3 rolls. The machine gun opens up. 12 or better normally, but I need a 13 now because of that seat cover, and so that missed because of that damage. Next roll, miss. Next roll, 13 or better, and that is a 13. One is added. Yeah, 1 is added 5, 6 points, no defense. 6 off of 12 is going to take him down to 6. And so that's going to be past his 8 break point. You draw a damage card. So we're going to apply the infantry effect, which is going to be, sorry, additional damage. So I roll another D10. He's down to 6, and then 9 will take him all the way out. So that's 6 more points for the Germans, and they're up to 9. The win condition is 51 in the standard game, by the way. And so all the attacks are now done for this current turn. This temporary damage goes back up to 6. The damage remains. And then we're ready for the draw phase. Draw phase, you each get a command card. Whoops, or sorry, I drew 2. Drew 2. And then you get a choice of 2 additional cards. It can be units off the top of your reserves, command cards, or 1 of each. So I'm going to draw 2 unit cards. Alright, and then we're ready for turn 2. And so turn 2, we again re-roll initiative. Let's go ahead and roll that. And the US gets it again. Your turn to commit. Alright, so committing reserve. So a good use of that card is if you have a crew without a tank, or a tank without a crew, and you do have that. So what you can do is bring the tank in from your hand, search through here for the tank crew the tank, and you're all set. And now go ahead and shuffle that reserves deck back up. Alright.
Thank you, Raymond. Appreciate it.
Alright, so we're ready for my commitment.
Okay, we'll see you.
And I'm going to play this card called Fill the Ranks, which lets me remove this damage card. And then I'm also going to commit a sniper into play. Alright, so we got, go ahead. Okay, so rifle squad, that's fine. So now we're ready for combat. So again, we would declare targets, start firing, and go through all of our combat, and then go to the draw phase, and then keep going. And as you can see, this builds and builds until you get to that climax where one player is going to get 51 points and take out the other opponent, or knock out everything on his line and potentially overrun the opponent. So yeah, so that's what we do. Now, there's some things missing here. We haven't committed any artillery. They would come into the rear line. Aircraft would come in anywhere and attack anything. They're only out for a couple turns. And then there's also close assault, which is a way that you can have a chance against a tank if you've only got infantry. You can actually group together 3 or more infantry, close assault, and you get a D10 per assaulting infantry unit. Alright, so that's there's a couple mechanics we're not yet showing, but for the purposes of a couple turns demo, that's the gist of Spearpoint. This is a prototype of the Eastern Front deck, and it plays with the same system rules that you've just seen, and it adds the Red Army to the mix, as well as all new German units, as well as all new command cards and damage cards. So it's all new cards added to the system, and both of these games are compatible with the map-based expansion that was also an Origins Award nominee this year. So thank you very much, and thanks for playing.
Thank you.
All right.